Hey, what's good with the YouTube? It's your boy Rojo. This is the Rojo Room, man. Now, we had some news yesterday. Now, we've talked about this before on a convict's perspective, and it's been talked about on numerous platforms. It involved the slaying of a big homie's wife from down south. Now, that's a major thing, obviously. You know what I mean? You go after someone like that, even though she's not necessarily anybody, her man was, right? And is to this day, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure not. So there was like 5 individuals charged, and this young woman was killed in a restaurant parking lot. And it was discovered over time that, there was a lot of alleged planning and plotting. They used jailhouse informants. They used statements that were uncorroborated, but it did result in the conviction of a couple individuals. And I'm gonna give you this word for word real quick, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, man. But the title, this is out of the San Bernardino Sun. Man acquitted in San Bernardino in slaying of Mexican Mafia member's wife. Isaac Paul Aguirre was acquitted on July 21st of 2022 of murder and participating in a criminal street gang in connection with the 2017 slaying of the wife of a Mexican Mafia member in San Bernardino. A man accused of conspiring to kill the wife of a Mexican Mafia member in San Bernardino in 2017 was acquitted on all charges after serving 5 years in jail awaiting trial. Now, let me pause real quick. Now, this is one of these tactics, bro, that force a lot of people into plea bargaining. You know what I mean? You go in there scared when you're charged with something because the odds are stacked against you. You know what I mean? You might not have no loot. Most of us don't to afford a lawyer. Okay, there's a difference between affording a lawyer and getting a real lawyer. You know what I mean? Do you want Perry Mason or do you want Tom Smith from down the street, who's on the meth a little bit, right? So you're already in bad shape with your representation if you're not loaded, right? The district attorney, they don't care if you're innocent or guilty 9 times out of 10. There's very few district attorneys, man, and I promise you, and I'm not singling out any county, state, nothing like that personally, but they don't care if you're guilty or innocent. If the cops file charges against you, they're going to prosecute it straight up. They can know you're not guilty. They're going to try to get you in jail. That's their job. You know what I mean? They thrive on conviction rates because conviction rates are resumes for going into private practice and for advancing in the political system. District attorneys become Congress people or whatever the case might be, whatever their ambitions are. They want those numbers. And the judge is not on your side. They're supposed to be a unbiased mediator. It's just not the case, man. And that's, again, there's very few judges who are going to be totally impartial and hope 50% that you go home. The prison industry, the court system, the legal system, all that stuff, while necessary, is also huge in financial benefits. And that's just facts, man. Straight up. Anyway, so that's one of their tactics, is to keep you in there a long time. I mean, you got to waive the time, but I'll tell you what, your public defender is either going to rush you to go to trial so they can get you out of their caseload, or they don't have time to thoroughly, and they don't have the time or the resources to thoroughly represent you. And so you sitting there all this time, and finally, you're like, damn, I've already been in here 2-3 years waiting to go to trial, because you're nervous, because you're probably going to get found guilty, and you take a plea bargain. You know what I mean? Or they break you down and have you tell on your co-defendants. You know what I mean? It's just, the system is not fair, and that's just straight up. There is circumstances where it is, but they're few and far between. Take it from me. I've been to court 70, 80 times. Okay. Anyway, Isaac Paul Aguirre, 48, was found not guilty of murder and participating in a criminal street gang on July 21st at the San Bernardino Justice Center. He's ecstatic to be released from custody and have his life back, says his attorney, Melanie Rowe. Matthew Manzano, was convicted of murder in 2020 and sentenced to 25 years to life. Robert Fernandez Jr. pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and street gang terrorism in 2018. He is due to be sentenced on August 5th. Richard Garcia pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter in 2019 and was sentenced to 30 years. And Eric Moreno was slain in his prison cell just days after he was charged. Carmen Gutierrez Rodriguez, 41, of North Hills, was shot to death in the parking lot outside of Gabby's Cafe on North Mount Vernon Avenue on January 18th, 2017. She was the wife of convicted armed robber Anthony Rodriguez, a known Mexican Mafia member, according to a San Bernardino police news release. Prosecutors say that the 5 men, including 3 who were in prison at the time, had plotted to kill her. Rose said prosecutors relied on uncorroborated statements, including a jailhouse informant, to build a case against Aguirre. Rose said she told the jury that Aguirre had tried to leave the gang before the hit was ordered and elicited testimony that gang leaders would not have tapped a member in bad standing to assist the plot. Now, that does make sense. Sort of, if that's really the real factors there. I conceded the government proved there was conspiracy to murder Carmen, but I argued they failed to prove Mr. Aguirre was a member of the conspiracy or that he even knew about it. Aguirre was ordered released from custody after the verdict. He had been in jail for a year after a drug conviction before he was rearrested at the jail in connection with the slaying 4 years ago. The San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office had no comment on Rose's statement, said Jacqueline Rodriguez, the DA spokeswoman. Now, the other part of this, okay, you go, you handle your business, you go to court, you're one of them very fortunate few that goes home. Yeah, he still did 5 years to be to be found not guilty. It's 5 years he's never going to get back, man. That's a long time to prove your fucking innocence. Granted, he had to agree to the time waivers and stuff, man, but if he's truly not guilty, he did 5 years for nothing right now. Right? Let that sink in for a minute. 5 years. He might not even have done nothing. On the flip side, he's gotten found not guilty in court. What about them gentlemen from down the way? How do you think they feel? They might not feel he's not guilty. And that's a whole nother can of, that's a whole nother can you don't want to open. We'll just leave it like that. You know what I mean? If he knows in his heart and soul that he had anything to do with that shit, well, he better make like Casper the Friendly Ghost and just disappear. Straight up. Because the memory is long. When you commit wrongs against certain people, especially extremely powerful people, they don't forget. Oh, they found him not guilty. They don't care what that judge and jury said, man. If they feel one way, that's how they feel. And you're either innocent or guilty. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. There's some breaking news. One person, got off on that incident. You know what I mean? Did that person cooperate? Did that person truly not have anything to do with it or any knowledge of it? We don't know. We can only assume. But, this is a 2-trial case right here. You got to be tried twice. Tried by the court, you won. Now we'll see what the big homies down the way think. Because their opinion is very, very important in the rest of this man's life. You know what I mean? So you already know there's a lesson in this stuff. I don't even have to point it out. If you weren't involved in stuff like this, you wouldn't have sat in prison for 5 years for no reason, potentially, allegedly. And you might not have to watch over your shoulder for the rest of your life because somebody felt like you got over. So, and to sum this all up, man, be careful with where you take yourself on your journey. Straight up. Because these certain type of lifestyles, they're not what you think they are. You can hear people rap about lifestyles, and you could, know OGs that did this type of lifestyle. Everybody's situation's unique. And I promise you, they don't end up good. This is your boy Rojo. This is the Rojo Room. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. I'll be on the live a little bit later. I still got the tumblers up. I'm going to do the drawing tomorrow. $2 an entry. The details are in the community. It's nothing. This is your boy, and I'm gone. Have a good one.